Welcome to our web exclusive. I'm Mike Montecalvo along with Eyewitness News analyst Lieutenant General Reginald Centracchio. We're going to talk about the missing Malaysian plane. Now, we are taping this, General, as of Wednesday. Right now, a picture released by Interpol showed two Iranian men with stolen passports getting on that plane now that's been missing since Friday. At first, they thought it was missing somewhere over Vietnam. Now they really have no idea where this plane is.
You're right. Now, in reference to the two individuals that got on the plane, there's always a possibility that that could have been terrorism involved in this particular incident. On the other hand, there's also some consideration that they may have been looking for some kind of asylum or some kind of a political recourse as to why they're there. To really determine whether, in fact, they were any kind of a tie to any kind of terrorist group, they've not done that at this point.
So there is a separation between hijacking and terrorism?
I think so. My interpretation between a hijacking and terrorism is you would hijack a plane to either put it into a building or crash it or blow it up. Hijacking, in reference to what it used to be back in the 60s and 70s, meant that someone would hijack a plane to take it someplace and ask for some kind of political asylum. I haven't ruled that out in my own mind. I have nothing to determine this other than what I think is always a possibility. Maybe that plane could have landed some other place, and that's why they can't find any debris right now anyway.
Well, there are about 80 planes and ships that are looking for this plane all over. They've obviously expanded this search. So they have not ruled out the possibility that it's landed somewhere else, but they are really focusing over the water. So they still think that it's somewhere in the ocean.
You're right. And Mike, you asked a question earlier about why haven't we detected it after 5 days? Well, you know, in the United States and in Europe, we have somewhat of a real dovetailing of radar systems. In that part of the world, there are gaps. And unless you have an identification capability of emitting who you are, you could get, in fact, lost. And they've determined they've actually made a U-turn, placing it back over the China Sea on the other side of where they were allegedly supposed to be. So they've expanded the area considerably looking for that plane.
Well, General, that's two issues here. One, the plane possibly turning around and their capabilities of trying to find it. But the other thing, too, is the two stolen passports and how these two men were able to get on the plane, especially with security being the way it is now in 2014.
It is. Interpol has a system, and it's called, I believe, iCheck. And there is a vast database of many travel documents and passports. But to get access to that is not as easily as it may seem, because if you did that, you would saturate the system and would fall and break. So they are allowing, I believe, to this, at least this couple of days past, allowing several airlines to check that against those passports to determine exactly how they got those passports to begin with.
Yeah, they'd be able to find it that way, or is it just
well,
a question
I think
mark?
so. I think the database would suggest that they're there. You just need to look at millions of pieces of data to find out that they correlate and how they got their hands on them.
All right, this is, of course, a fluid situation. We're going to stay on top of this. Let's change topics for a moment, General. The Ukraine Prime Minister is meeting with President Obama on Wednesday. There is talk now that the summit that's supposed to take place in Sochi, Russia, will not happen. Most of the countries will not go if there's not a resolution.
As of this taping, 7 countries said they will not participate unless there's a resolution to this. And the resolution will not be that Russia takes over Crimea. So I think that has to be somewhat of a point of concern to Putin insofar as his credibility is around the world.
Does he care if any of these countries show up?
I don't think so. I think he has the upper hand. He has the control assets called natural gas in that area, and he's got nothing to lose except the credibility of the rest of the world, and he's willing to take that gamble.
And finally, General, all military personnel and retirees will have to have their ID scanned starting March 17th when they go on a military base. How has that changed?
It's a new system. Before, you had to have a sticker on your vehicle and you had to have a valid ID card. Now, the stickers won't be required anymore. You'll have to go to the base physically, get your ID card that's issued by a DOD, have it scanned, and when you come to the gate the next time, you just produce your card, it'll be verified and it'll allow you access.
A lot easier?
Much easier, yeah.
Okay. General Centracchio, thank you for your thoughts, and thanks for watching.